Yeah.
Look. This is the music you requested.
That's not a theme song. Yeah, maybe it is. No, I guess with the horns.
Go ahead. Can you introduce us, please?
Live from room 923. Is that right? At the Sustainalytics Sheraton Hotel and Conference Center in Weehawken, New Jersey. It's a Smells Like Cider AF edition of Business Pants Friday featuring Ari the Data Queen,
Happy
Matt the
fall.
Board Sabermetrics correspondent. They call him the BS correspondent, and me. I'm your new doctor. I didn't even realize that. I'm your doctor. I'm your doctor.
Dr. Damien. God, I would never.
Well,
go
I used to
see
call
that
me
guy.
that. My initials are DR.
Oh.
Yeah, but I never
Doc.
amounted to much. I never
We'll call
became
you
a
Doc.
doctor. Yeah.
No.
In this week's episode, plant-based noses, myth-busting, and angry cartoonists. Let's get to it. This is our Friday edition. We do a story of the week. We do a goodliest of the week. And we do an assholiest of the week. And if you stick around to the very end, maybe some predictions and winners and all that kind of silly stuff.
Love it.
All right, want to get to it?
Let's
I
do
know we
it.
have time constraints. You want to get to it?
Yeah,
I'm ready.
we're all time constrained today. Let's do it.
I had a
Yeah.
yeah. Let's go.
Okay.
Give me something. Give me a
Here you go.
transition. Give me a something.
You
man.
want a transition? Here you go. Here's
Yeah.
a transition.
I don't have breaking news. All right, this was easy for me this week. Maybe I do have a little bit of breaking news. Matt, what's the real company that kind of like launched our podcast network? What was the story in the company? Boeing. Thank you.
I won. I won that
looks
one.
like it looks like the Boeing story has wrapped. I guess, Matt. I don't know if you saw this, but Boeing will pay $200 million to settle SEC fraud charges related to 2 deadly airplane crashes involving the company's 737 MAX aircraft. Of course, that happened back in 2018, 2019. Also, and this is noteworthy because this is something that we talked about a lot, the company's former CEO, Dennis Muhlenberg, also agreed to a separate $1 million fine, which is, in these stories, is actually relevant. Yeah.
He personally has to pay a fine?
Yeah, so we can get back to that. That's
Or his
the
insurance?
His insurance.
Sorry.
His insurance.
You want to how do you want to do this? Do you want to get into Boeing now, or do you want me to give you the 4 stories quickly?
No, let's do the 4 stories, then we'll come back because
Okay.
there's always something to talk about with Boeing. And
I got a lot of tidbits about all these
If you
stories.
listen to the show, you're bored of Boeing. If you listen,
Okay,
if
yeah,
you sit in an RE seat and you hear me practice speeches and stuff, you're bored
Boeing.
as fuck about Boeing.
Never heard of
let's-
him.
Yeah, we don't
let's
have
go
to.
on.
We don't have to get too much into Boeing. I will say this though, Dennis Muhlenberg, he's still the CEO and chair of a publicly traded company. Yes, it's a SPAC, but is this guy?
It's not
is he
a
going to keep
real
that job?
company. It's not
It's
a
not a
real
real
company.
company?
Come on.
SPACs aren't real companies.
No, they're not real. Nobody cares about them, and they're terrible. Let's move on.
The second big story is just a business pants. Like this is just a. I don't even know how to. I don't even know how to characterize this other than like. This is like business pants at its finest. This story.
It's really this guy I think is a listener and was like just looking to give us something to talk about.
Yeah, and Matt's conspiracy theory is making me actually think about this a little bit. But the
Who
story is that
planted him?
Beyond Meat COO, that's his name is Doug Ramsey, arrested for biting man's nose after a college football game. So the COO at a plant-based company is eating people's faces, and they didn't ask them for that. So just
Look, what they're-
non-consensual face eating.
But if you think about what Beyond Meat's mission is, it's really to expand protein availability. So that's one thing that he's doing.
Let me tell you, I want to tell you a quick few things about, first a pop quiz. Does anyone want to guess where Doug Ramsey came from?
Oh.
What brought him to, the experience where brought him to Beyond Meat, the darling
Tyson.
company that
Oh my
I
God.
celebrated.
Is it Tyson?
I celebrated Beyond Meat so hard that it
Oh.
became like a Formica kitchen table, essentially. Like, I love Beyond Meat so much. Say that again, Ari?
I said Tyson.
I was going to guess Tyson also.
No way. I really didn't know. That's
This idiot.
funny.
Look at his face. If you're watching the live
idiot,
stream, look at this guy.
Who is only so far only been suspended by the company. Like, I don't know how this is not an immediate dismissal. Maybe they're gathering like nose eating facts. I don't know.
Maybe the guy he bit was delicious.
I would fire him just for going to college football games, because really it's enough already with this college football. But that's beside the point. Yes, he came from Tyson Foods. His most recent position there was head of retail poultry operations.
Wow.
Yeah, that's who Beyond Meat hired as a CEO. That guy's been at Tyson Foods since 1992, I believe.
Does Beyond Meat realize it's not an actual meat company?
No.
I don't know what they think.
Well, look, Beyond didn't BP from British Petroleum like rebrand as Beyond Petroleum? Maybe, and then they continue to like suck dino juice out of the ground. Maybe this is the same thing.
It's also true that a nose, while yes, it is meat, really human nose, it's kind of beyond meat in some way, like in the poetic sense, right? Like it's right.
Who eats that? Yeah, really.
It's not right. Exactly. It's not traditional meat. So, and Matt, you had a brilliant point, I think, yesterday that maybe this is a plant, no pun intended, to placate the anti-woke red meat eating Republicans in the country, right? To prove to them that Beyond Meat, it's okay to eat plant-based food, and you can still be a man.
He was chest thumping at a college football game and bit a man's nose off. You want to buy meat no matter what kind of meat from that guy.
What more good fun than that?
And let me just briefly tell you that this guy was Beyond Meat's. He was the highest paid executive last year, partly due to his huge Golden Hello package, which is about $17 million in equity.
$17 million?
Yeah. And I'm going to remind you, Beyond Meat, because maybe you don't remember, because you signed this employment agreement in December of 2021. But here's what you said in there. Your employment with the company, you meaning Doug Ramsey, your employment with the company will be at will, meaning that either you or the company may terminate your employment at any time or for any reason, with or without cause. But here's a cause: eating men's noses. How about that?
No, that's
right.
Like it could terminate your employment for any reason. Right?
Come on, we can't take this. All right, moving on. Number 3, big story is it's really a follow-up to a story we covered last week, but it includes some of our favorites. So remember we covered the jerk Robert Sarver, suspended by the NBA. He was the owner for the Phoenix Suns. It's done. And I think, Matt, you sort of predicted this correctly, was that the NBA just didn't really want to take responsibility, but that the world would take responsibility, right? And that's what essentially would happen. The players, other team owners, everyone was just like, this guy has got to go. He's a clown. He's a jerk. And that's what's happening. He's already saying he's done. He's selling the team. Although, of course, in saying this, he blamed the rest of the world for it. He's not actually apologetic about anything. He thinks it's it's bullshit. But
if you think about it, we railed on Adam Silver first because we couldn't understand the disparity between the Donald Sterling approach and this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now Silver, in my mind, looks like a genius because he can say, look, we just fined you. We can't help that the world is demanding that you step down, and there's so much pressure that you step down. That means the league didn't make him do it. He's going to do it. He can have his anti-woke cancer culture narrative. He can lean into that because
with an extra couple $1 billion.
I do want to say, for everybody who is like at risk of being laid off, just been laid off, like did something really creepy and terrible. Maybe you grabbed the secretary at the office party, whatever you're doing that's horrible. It's super easy now to just be like cancel culture, and that like wokeness is the reason why I lost my job. That's now we don't have to have personal responsibility for anything we would do. We could just say that it was the woke mob that got me.
Well, remember, the Ubisoft CEO said just last week that he blames the current generation of young people.
Yeah, the
for all the
generation.
sexual harassment suits. He's not blaming them for the sexual harassment. He's blaming them for complaining about the sexual harassment.
If only
there's a generation.
they weren't
yeah.
so woke.
No, he did.
that
He
they
did.
cared.
This is true, people. This
I
is
know.
True,
This
people.
is
Anyway.
actually this is real.
The reason why I bring this up is because the names listed as favorites to take over the Phoenix Suns were some of our favorites: Bob Iger, former CEO of Disney, Jeff Bezos, and Elon Musk. So there you go. So we might get
You left out the only diversity candidate. They had to name somebody
Okay,
who's diverse.
Yeah.
It's Arturo Moreno.
Well, notice that I'm not doing what I did with the Denver Broncos, and I'm not even asking will we find a black owner for this?
No,
for this.
He's not going to.
We know that we know that they don't do that.
Come on.
So that's the third story, and the fourth one, another big one in our world. I mean, this is just like the perfect week for the news director here at Business
That's
Pants. That
you.
would be me. Yeah. I mean, really, this is like just a beautiful week for me, and that is that this headline, and we talked about Wednesday. Dilbert becomes the voice of the ESG opponents officially, and we covered this exhaustively. I'm not going to go into detail all the nonsense, but I do have a few fun facts about Scott Adams I wanted to tell you before you guys vote. First of all, he has an MBA from Berkeley.
Yeah.
Can we start there? I just thought he was a dopey
Is that the College of
cartoonist.
Music or the California?
No, the actual one in California, not the pot smoking one in Boston. He has an MBA and still has no idea what ESG is all about, and has no clue that he was writing ESG forward comics.
All I did was meet MBAs in our former life who had no idea what ESG was. Come on, that's not qualifying.
From
Few other
Berkeley,
fun-
though. You think the police would.
You think, right?
Stop.
Although, to be fair, Scott Adams, he got that degree in 1986. So that's back when they used the phone book as a textbook. So I don't know. Who knows?
They have physical maps then.
Here's some other fun, confusing facts about Scott Adams. He's now, again, he is the voice of the anti-ESG movement. He's now literally the figurehead. In 2017, he described himself as being left of Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders.
He came back around.
Which, you know what? I
circle.
believe, because Matt and I pointed out, all of his comics before he started railing against ESG were the most pro-ESG comics known to woman or man.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. He also was a CEO. Scott Adams was a CEO of briefly of a company called Scott Adams Foods, where he made Dill Burrito, which was a vegan microwave burrito. Again, proving his ESG credentials.
None
right
of
there.
this counts. He wasn't a real CEO.
What?
He also
Dill
said,
burrito.
yeah, and proving that he is the perfect spokesperson for the anti-ESG movement. Let me just give you this long-winded quote from this madman, Scott Adams. He said this, and you're not going to enjoy this, either one of you. Here's the quote. The reality is that women are treated differently by society for exactly the same reason that children and the mentally handicapped are treated
Already
differently.
don't like it.
It's just easier this way for everyone. You don't argue with a 4-year-old about why he shouldn't eat candy for dinner.
What
You
the
don't
F?
punch a mentally handicapped guy even if he punches you first. And you don't argue when a woman tells you she's only making 80 cents to your dollar. It's the path of least resistance. You save your energy for more important battles. This, people,
Blah, blah,
this
blah.
is the voice of the anti-ESG movement. This is what's happening. This is your reality. So congratulations.
I don't
This
know
is
what
the
reality
idiot.
I live. I don't know what reality I live in. I'm very confused. Wait, why is everybody clapping? No. Why is everybody clapping?
Because this is who they pick. Because this is their one chance to attack Larry Fink and all the ESG pros, and this is who they pick as their poster child. Anyway, here are your 4 stories to vote on. Story of the week: the Boeing case finally solved. The big cease and desist order going against Boeing and Muhlenberg. Again, for I didn't even tell you this. The SEC ruling that they purposely withheld information about the airplane's flight control functions from investors on numerous occasions.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the first story. Second story, Beyond Meat COO eating people's faces. The third story, the racist owner of the Suns is out. Maybe we're gonna get a new CEO in. And the fourth story is that Dilbert is now the voice of anti-ESG. So I don't know how you're gonna vote on this one, but those are your four.
This
stories.
one's easy for me, actually. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I didn't.
Maybe
have to
maybe
really
Ari
think
should go
about it.
first.
All right,
I'll
go.
go first. Well, the nose thing really,
I mean,
it
that's
really
a
amused me,
beautiful-
but I don't.
beautiful-
Yeah, no. And then the basketball. Okay, I'm glad he's
Yeah.
stepping down. I don't really care who's
Yeah.
gonna take over. And the Dilbert dude,
Come on.
more confusing than anything. So I'm gonna go with Boeing because
Really?
I like a good
Interesting.
ending.
That's because you are your team data queen. You are analytics queen. You're going with Boeing because it's really
It's
one
just
of
us.
it's the foundation of our analytics. right?
Ari
I mean-
is. What the listeners don't know about Ari is she's incredibly selfish and she's only thinking
Yeah,
about
she is.
herself
'Cause
and
Matt,
her
I-
data.
I know we're up for some award, and I know
We
that
are.
you put
the
it together a
TBLI
presentation.
Better World
Say it.
Prize. The
Say it again.
TBLI Better World Prize for best ESG
we're-
or impact measurement.
We've been nominated for this award, right? I'm
Mhm.
not making this up, right?
No, this is real. We got nominated for an award.
Nobody believes it. And Matt has
No
put
one
together a very Matt has put together a very nice presentation, and if we don't win, I'm going to punch everybody. So we're probably the only ESG person who would admit this.
As long
so
as
I'll
you don't
punch
bite
everybody.
their noses off.
I'm not going to bite. I'm not going to eat. I'm just punching.
Good.
I'm just going to tell you that Ari is wrong and Damon's going to agree with me. The story of the week is 100%
No.
man
Wait.
bites face.
I'm not
No.
done talking. I want to promote Matt for a few more seconds. Matt put together a very nice presentation for this award, and one of the foundations of our analytics that he is presenting for this award is the centers on the Boeing board.
It is. The
A
history,
man named Ken Duberstein, who was the
Yeah.
architect of that board that led to this henosity, this fraud and death. So I'm just saying that this is why Ari picked it. But go
right,
go
it is
ahead.
super relevant. But Matt's
Super
gonna go
relevant.
with the nose
Thank
fighting
you,
guy.
Ari.
Yeah,
Thank you,
well,
Ari.
I'm not much of a self-promoter. The real
Yeah, Matt,
story of
sorry.
the
I
week, I'm
stepped on
sorry,
your-
was a
your
man
boat. Yeah.
a man from a vegan meat company bites another man's nose off. That
course.
is the 100% the story
And
of the week.
And as the tiebreaker, I of course Matt is right.
Of course
Look,
I
that
am. This is
the Boeing
100%
story
chance.
is the Boeing story
There's
is
100%
massive.
chance.
And frankly, I'll tell you that the Dilbert thing is massive in my world. Like one of the most important things that ever happened in this company is this Dilbert thing. Actually, putting the acronym in a popular comic. I mean, I guess popular. in
We've won.
1998, but
ESG won.
we've won. But this is just too good. This is just the Beyond Meat. That guy coming from Tyson. It's just come on. It's too
That
much.
Tyson thing was funny.
It
It's
was
got to be
really
the story
good.
of the week.
All right,
You know,
story
hit me
of
up.
the week.
Hit me up when he gets fired, please.
All right, here we go.
I don't.
Good
What are
list
they?
of the
What are they
week.
waiting for? You know how much money anyway they're going to save shareholders by just clawing back the ridiculous equity award they gave them. So what are they waiting for? I don't understand. All right, moving on. Ari,
Yeah,
bail us out. Good least of the
I
week.
got
Come on.
you. I got you. All right, we're gonna start with carbon. I feel like I talk about carbon a lot, but
That's your routine.
decarbonizing
It's your thing.
It's your
the
thing.
energy sector is huge, and there's a lot of noise about this because it costs so much to decarbonize the energy sector. Oh, the poor Americans, they're gonna have to pay so much at the pump.
Ooh,
And
I
so
like
on.
this
I like
version
this
of Ari.
voice. You should do this.
But-
Yeah, I like this. You can bottle this.
Brand new research from Oxford using.
Ooh.
Well, I might lose you here.
Yeah.
man.
Probabilistic.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Modeling,
I'm reading
predicted
your
that.
script.
transitioning to a decarbonized energy system, like doing a fast transition. And fast here doesn't mean actually fast. They mean by like 2050 fast. It would save the world at least $12 trillion
Wow.
and produce 55% more power.
I'm not gonna lie, our drum roll was a little mistimed right there.
It was a little poor. I was trying. She couldn't get to it.
I'm not gonna
$12
lie.
trillion.
$12 trillion,
lot.
yeah.
It's a lot
Yeah,
of
it is
Sounds
children.
like
a
a lot
lot.
of money, Ari.
Yeah, seems
And,
like-
the hurdles to like actually get there is an example like this of upfront cost. For example, it would take
Yeah.
an extra $140 billion a year to enhance grid capacity. But that would actually save $400 billion in energy costs every year.
This is killing me. I don't know. Like I'm with you that this sounds really good. It's killing me that that now you're mentioning the things that they could do that they're not doing. Now you're killing me.
What do you mean? Right.
Well,
you're saying that
it just seems like a dumb.
Seems so good.
It's such an easy decision.
Yeah,
and
this
we
just
don't do
seems
it.
so easy, Ari. Like I just love all of this.
Well, the normal way of doing economic analysis does not use
normal way.
I can't do it now.
Probabilistic. Yeah.
Oh, is
Thank
that
you.
true?
Yeah,
Okay.
modeling. So
Okay, I didn't know about that.
right, but they tested going backwards when new technologies came to the market, like wind power and solar power, and their method of predicting how much money it would save in the long run was more accurate than the way economists were doing it and are still doing it now. So they're saying
taking on the economist mob. Can we in
yes.
Yeah.
ESG now talk about like the economist mob? Like there's the woke mob that's supposed to be us, but the
Yeah, the
economist
economist
mob
mob.
is the one that's out to get us.
They're the triple materiality mob.
Ooh, boo, boo.
Oh, they agree with me.
I know. Well, we
Although
make
you
a
kinda
compelling
led them
case
into
here
it.
at Business
Yeah.
Pants.
All right. So
as
that's
good. Yeah,
that's number one.
Let's keep that good though. I don't want to hear about things they could be doing. I don't want to hear about roadblocks but let's just stay with the main theory there, the main treatise that decarbonizing the energy sector by 2050 could save the world $12 trillion. Come on.
$1 trillion, and it doesn't even take into account like the CO2 that wouldn't be spewed.
Yeah.
That would cause
Dilbert, are you listening,
even more
Dilbert?
cost.
Dilbert, are you literally listening? Listen to what she's saying.
All
if
right.
only oil companies would just identify as clean tech companies.
This is a great business plan. All right. So moving on. Number two, myth busting. And I have a couple of headlines for this myth busting theme here.
Okay.
It goes, who is doing the bulk of the flirting at the office?
What?
Right. There was a
alone
study
in
done.
a shed. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's not
Well,
you.
there was a study
You're laughing,
done
but
by,
it's true.
well, yeah, judging by your hoodie, I don't know what to tell you. A study by UC Berkeley finds that men in low power positions are the biggest culprit of workplace flirtation.
Oh, don't laugh at the men in low positions.
I know
In
why they're
low
laughing.
power positions, right? Because the
laugh at
stereotypes
them.
are usually like, the woman who is in a subordinate position or the man who is in power, right? Because
Yeah.
typically that's what's in the headlines, right? When the
Well,
men who are in power harass women, try to flirt with them, right? Because that does happen.
all right. Just yesterday, there's a article about women at Goldman Sachs were assaulted, harassed by male bosses for years, according to a new lawsuit. So yeah,
Yes.
you're right. That is the popular
Yes.
narrative.
So what you're saying is the study found that it's Kyle.
Okay, what are we doing here? Stop it.
Oh, I'm just saying that.
Yeah, people in low power positions. And like this behavior over time, like maybe it's benign most of the time, but it can turn into harassment. But right now, researchers say that there's a myth that harassment is exclusive
How
to
is
this
this-
high power people dynamic.
What's good
So
about this?
organizations
What's good
that we're myth busting here.
We're myth busting.
We're
Thank
myth
you.
busting.
We're
The good
myth
thing is
busting.
busting a myth.
This
It's
I don't feel
not that
good at all
men
about
in power
busting this myth.
exclusively harass
Right.
Other
women.
men
Not
also
just
are
them.
It's
harassing.
all the men
Ari, this is
everywhere.
terrible. Ari, you terrible person.
Ari basically.
All right, here's my
How does
second
this make me
myth
feeling
buster.
good? And by the way, this research comes out of Berkeley, the same place that educated Scott Adams about ESG. So I don't believe that.
Stop. That was in the 80s, you told me.
This,
Anyway.
That 1680.
Come on, now give me something actually to make me feel good. I don't feel good about that.
No, this is the second
All
myth
right.
bust.
Second
Okay,
myth bust.
Yeah, better be a better one.
Investors do not respond more negatively to the announcement of black CEO appointments than to white
Wait,
CEO appointments.
what?
I know there's a lot of double negatives
Yeah,
here.
it's
Read the
like,
headline.
What just happened there? It's-
Read the headline first.
When
though,
a
so I
black
really understand.
CEO is appointed, it benefits
Yeah.
the company's stock, according
Yes.
to new research.
See, now this I feel good about. Case closed,
Right.
people. When a
A lot of
black
people
CEO
seem
is
to feel
appointed,
good
it
about
benefits
this.
the company's stock.
okay.
Case closed.
Because the investors' reaction to that appointment announcement isn't negative.
Good.
Like a 2021 paper that was published
Mhm.
said that they supposedly found that investors had negative reactions. However, that paper that was published did not publish their data.
That was
What?
the one Hester Pierce used to talk about.
I was gonna say,
Right.
So,
Yes. Yeah.
so there's actually a myth. There's actually a myth out there that when a black CEO is appointed,
The market
the stock
reacts
price
negatively.
goes down.
Yeah.
What? That's a terrible
Well,
racist
look,
dystopia. I don't want. What is that?
And the
we have
opposite
to
is
say
true.
though, we have to say on either
Yeah.
side of this coin, you are talking about a sample size of like 6, right? Like
That's
there's,
true,
you're not
unfortunately.
exactly
Unfortunately,
talking
it's
about a
true.
lot of black individuals who have been CEOs of large companies, like large cap companies.
So they used S&P 1500 here, and I believe it was 46 people. So yeah, no, not a
That's
lot.
sad. You're making me feel depressed again.
Yeah.
But that is their sample size, and it contradicted directly to that 2021 paper that said that the opposite was true. And I mean, yeah,
That's a good
I
myth
just-
to bust, though. But let's move.
right, I like it.
These are sad myths that we just
I kind of like
busted.
this a little bit.
But
Yeah, okay,
All
what's
right.
the last
moving
good
on.
thing?
Yeah,
Number
make me feel
3.
good. Make me feel good.
the U.S. installs record solar capacity.
This
and
I like.
prices
There we
keep
go.
falling.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's it.
There
Ari.
we go.
Now you hit it.
Now we're
Thank you.
talking. There we go. Finally.
Because I can't argue with this. This is just straightforward.
That's a
right? I like
thing
this.
that got done. You don't have to
a
say
thing.
more about it. It actually happened.
Oh no! But
Tell me more, though.
listen,
Tell me more.
This is
Yeah.
how much it got done. So the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Department of Energy, Berkeley Lab, they released its annual analysis of solar energy,
Berkeley.
and it found that there's
Yeah.
a geographic theme going on. Nearly half the generating capacity that the U.S. has right now was installed in 2021.
Is that right?
Wow.
So
Yeah.
Is this a? Now I don't. This
Well,
is
calm
not
down,
a
Brad. I wanna
political.
hear
I
it.
don't want to make this into a political conversation, but is this a direct result of an administration change, or was it already planned to be this year, or do you know?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the costs. The costs have dropped so much, like over
Oh,
75%
Interesting. They're
since
taking advantage of
2010.
that.
So right now, or in the last year, it's been
Mhm.
cheaper to build
Nice.
and operate a solar plant
Love
than
it.
it is to fuel an existing natural gas plant.
I love it. I love everything you're saying. See this. All right,
that
now
nuts?
you
That,
hit
this
your
is
sweet
good.
spot.
This is good. This
Yes.
is. This
And
is,
all of this, right?
Mhm.
Like these data points are before the Inflation Reduction Act
Right.
was signed. So, and that includes many incentives and tax breaks to like keep solar power going.
Beautiful.
All right. So rounding our roundup is carbon. It is myth busting, which includes
Yeah. Boo.
Kyle actually flirts a lot, and
Stop saying.
and black CEOs. The
Oh.
market doesn't not like them because we only do
Yeah.
double
Right.
negatives. And then solar installation actually happened and
Oh.
is massive.
I'm torn here.
This one's
I-
easy
I-
for me.
I'm gonna.
They're all
If
good
it's
to
easy for
me.
you, I'll go first. I don't want to be swayed by you. I'm throwing out your myth busting because that just depressed
Why?
me. And I go, this is just an emotional thing for me, Ari, because
Correct.
it actually literally made me feel bad. So I'm gonna throw out your myth busting nonsense.
Yeah, I hate it.
See,
too.
typically I'm like big on this campaign of like just proving that how much money we can save and make by adopting, things like decarbonizing the energy sector. So I do like that first story. But you
Mhm.
know what? I just like it's fall, it's chilly. I like the idea of actually accomplishing something, doing a thing to warm your body temperature up a little bit. Like, this is why I rake leaves, because it's cold out. So I'm going to go with the U.S. installs record solar capacity. I just love this. It's like a thing. They
Yep.
did
It's
a thing.
They did
Yeah.
it.
I
They
love
got
it. That's
done.
my vote.
That's my vote also. That is the correct vote, and that is by far the goodliest of the week. There's no.
The only good one.
It's the thing that happened. Is the
How
goodliest.
dare
of the
you,
week.
Ari? You busted a myth that it's not only male bosses that harass. That's
Can you
terrible. You're a
No,
imagine
terrible
wait, the
person.
that
myth that
being
she
there in the
busted-
first place?
The myth that she busted is it doesn't not isn't only doesn't.
Okay, stop. Okay, let's go. Assholiest of the week. The great Matt Muscardi. Come on.
Right, assholiest of the week. All right. Oh, you like the other transition sounds? Okay.
We can do all kinds.
The assholiest of the week. I have this ongoing thing where I'm picking one thing that's the asshole of the week, and then I'm just gonna give you pieces of it, and you have to choose the most asshole within it. Asshole of
Yeah.
the week is cartoons.
I know where you're going here because I've been looking at the headlines.
There are a lot of cartoons, surprisingly,
Yes,
in the
there are.
headlines.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna run through these quickly. First of all, Damien already talked about Dilbert. It's not Dilbert that I don't like. It's Scott Adams, the creator of Dilbert, and his pretend narrative. Here are 4 headlines that came out in the last 24 hours. It's a woke conspiracy to cancel Dilbert. Now Dilbert is racist. Dilbert owner blames woke mob after comic strip ousted from 77 newspapers, and Dilbert author claims woke mob is coming for his comic strip as it is removed from 77 newspapers.
I like that. I like coming for because it definitely evokes pitchforks like on fire.
So the Dilbert has been syndicated for 3,000 years. No one has read it in the last 20. And it got killed by Lee Enterprises along with a dozen other comics. They've been cutting comics for a long time, and this is a dump of comics. But Adams insinuated that it's a woke mob and cancel culture and a conspiracy. He said he literally said, I don't know if it's a coincidence. I know they were cutting other things. You decide
but
yourself.
I'm not going to look into it. I'm going to say something.
It seems like fishy that as soon as I took on woke culture, that blah blah blah. He says all these things. Here is the woke mob that canceled him. Okay, Lee Enterprises, 6 white men on the board, 2 white women, and 1 black guy. And the executive team is 100% white and 66% male. And you'll be happy to know one of the women is the head of HR. So just keeping it real. 82% of donations from employees at Lee Enterprises went to Republicans over the last decade. 82%.
82%.
That's the woke mob coming after you. Maybe they cut you because you're not relevant and you're expensive. Maybe that's why they cut you.
Not to mention,
well, he knows that he's just using this as his,
That's
his
what I hate.
in order
That's
to
what makes
him
the
get
asshole.
somebody else.
And then none of the publications that say woke mob came after Dilbert actually do any research. You have to go to the 10th paragraph to find the thing that says Lee Enterprises has been cutting comics steadily over the last blah blah blah. They're burying it because it doesn't fit the narrative of woke cancel culture.
Yeah. And 2 other things I want to add here is that Lee Enterprise owns newspapers in decidedly non-woke areas. So this is not like the people of Burlington, Vermont got mad. That's not the narrative here. It's not the story.
This is
secondly,
Berkeley, California's local paper.
This has been a long tradition in newspaper publishing. Not a long tradition. In the last 10 to 20 years, this is a common cost-cutting thing. Here, our newspapers are owned by the Gannett. The Gannett owns a lot of newspapers across the country, and one of the first things they did was cut a lot of our favorite syndicated comics because they cost a hell of a lot of money. It's just what newspaper industry has had to do for years. Anyway.
So that's my first asshole. The false narrative coming out of Dilbert and the woke mob, blah, blah, blah. Here's another comic-related, cartoon-related
this is
false
a good one.
narrative.
I saw this one.
Oil giants are pretending. Okay, here's the headline. I'll just give you the headline. Ready?
Yeah.
Chevron is using Captain Planet and Batman Returns to deflect blame for its climate denial.
What?
Yeah.
I'll quote. I read a lot of this morning.
Yeah.
Surprising
as you
amount.
should have.
I'll quote the 167 pages of briefs filed by Chevron in defense of themselves in a case brought by the city of Honolulu, in which Chevron argues that they couldn't have misinformed the public about climate change because, here are some quotes, plaintiff's complaint tries to construct the narrative that oil and gas companies had some unique knowledge about climate science and withheld it or misrepresented it in some way that impacted policy responses and consumer choices. That narrative is false. Later, they say, climate change has not only been broadly and publicly discussed by scientists and government officials for more than 6 decades, the issue of climate change has been extensively reported to the public in national and Hawaiian newspapers and magazines, on television shows and documentaries, and in movies. Here are some of the sources of environmental information
Yeah, this is covered the extensive reporting.
This is
some of
the
sources.
extensive reporting on climate
reporting.
change.
Yeah.
Here, I'm just going to give you the sources.
I'm thinking like Wall Street Journal. I'm thinking New York Times. Extensive
that would
reporting.
be fantastic. No, what they said, where you could have gotten your climate change information, why they couldn't
Scientific
have possibly
American.
confused us.
National Geographic.
Because you heard this from Batman Returns, Captain Planet, the show Frasier, The West Wing, The
Well, yeah,
Fresh
that's
Prince
true.
of Bel-Air. Apparently, Will Smith has been telling us about climate change.
He's
for
punching
years.
comedians. He's teaching about climate change. Amazing.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles once had a storyline where they
Wow.
mentioned global warming.
Yeah.
The show Cheers said something about
Well,
global
every
warming.
every time Norm burped, it was sort of equivalent to like a methane fart from a cow.
And Power Rangers. That's just some.
wow.
There are. I'm not kidding. There are dozens, and
Congratulations,
the 167 pages of it. Around 70 are quoting from all of these shows where they mention climate change or global warming. And usually, one of the quotes that I read that stood out was. The cast of Frasier comes inside and it's unseasonably warm in the winter, and they say
stop
thank you
it.
for global warming.
Stop.
I'm not
That's
kidding.
extensive reporting.
This is what Chevron is using as a defense for why they couldn't have misled you, because you watched Frasier that one time, and when it was 80 degrees on a fake television show, they said global warming, and that's how you know.
Well, Matt,
Can you imagine these lawyers? Billing $600 an hour.
I'm happy to name the lawyers here because there's an extensive list of assholes.
Can I just say though?
Well, they all had to go and watch that.
I hate to like enter a dose of reality here, but the sad part is that this is part of the reason why the left fears the court, the judge stuffing from like people like Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump, is because there are judges now put in place who have very little experience, who have been fast-tracked to hear these cases, who will agree with this because they've been put there for this reason, to fall for this nonsense. I hate to enter some reality into this, but this stuff might work is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
I hate
maybe.
to tell you.
It's not about whether or not it works.
I hate to tell you.
Because it's worked for
I'm not saying they're not assholes, Matt. I'm just saying.
I'm just
unfortunately,
saying that they're assholes.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
So that's asshole
terrible,
number 2.
terrible.
Asshole number 3 is
Yeah.
cartoon, political villain, anti-woke asshole narratives. This is the worst story of all
What's going
time.
on? Yeah.
Here's the headline. Hungry migrants were lured with $10 McDonald's gift certificates to gain their trust and fly them to Martha's Vineyard. Lawsuit against Ron DeSantis says.
How dare you?
I'm going to editorialize at the very end. I'm just going to say there were people walking around outside of migrant shelters with $10 gift certificates for food. They made anyone interested sign a document where the paragraphs about liability and the transportation to Martha's Vineyard weren't translated into Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
Even a Texas sheriff has opened a criminal investigation. A Texas sheriff is doing this. There's no word whether they actually got the McDonald's, but fuck that guy. This is the worst story.
This is not like it's not like a traditional business plan story. I did look into McDonald's. McDonald's has nothing to do with this, to be fair to
of course
McDonald's.
not.
Yeah, okay. I'm just making
McDonald's
that
The
clear.
one time. The one time.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like they just bought gift certificates and used them.
they just got used like
So
everybody else.
Who are you mad at here? DeSantis or
I'm
the
mad.
person who created the pamphlet?
What I'm
What are you
mad
trying
at
to say?
is like basically it's cartoon political villains at this point, because we are on a race to the
I see what you're doing
absolute
there.
meme-driven
I see what you're doing
bottom
there.
to get a vote.
Got it.
It is this
Got it.
anti-woke narrative bullshit. Like, oh, I'm going to make a political point by sending some hungry migrants? You kidding me? What planet are you from?
And of course, the reporting is that Donald Trump is jealous because it was a brilliant play by DeSantis. Ari, do you have
of course.
Do you want to start this off? Do you have a sense of where you want to go in this vote?
Yeah, I thought I was really going to go with Chevron because what the heck?
Yeah.
Like, okay, I do not get my education from Batman Returns. Sorry.
Well,
Didn't
okay,
you?
But-
for yourself.
I mean, the Martha's Vineyard story is just incomprehensible to me.
Yeah.
Although,
Yeah.
where's McDonald's here? Even though they're a footnote of the whole story. Where's their PR person? They should be
Well,
like,
Yeah.
McDonald's
busy-
is committed to helping these people that were, terribly
No.
wronged.
You
Come
know what
on,
they're currently
come on,
doing?
McDonald's.
You know what they're currently doing? Ari? They're complaining about crime in Chicago as probably some long play to get another tax break from the city and from Illinois.
I'm just
They're-
waiting.
They're playing some other game.
They're missing a trick though, because they could have put out a release saying Venezuelan migrants sent to Martha's Vineyard have free McDonald's for life, right? Like, and that would have
But
been.
then-
They could have
But-
pulled any stunt. Like, come here, we'll give you a job,
But then they
Yeah,
might get
come
a
to
letter
Chicago.
from Vivek. Matt, they might get a letter from Vivek telling them to stop. They want to get a letter from Vivek. All right. Is that
Anyway,
your vote,
Yes, it is. my vote.
DeSantis?
Yep.
I mean, I'm
Well,
going to respectfully disagree
was
with
tricky.
you, Ari. I'm going to respectfully
Ooh.
disagree. with you. First of all, I appreciate it, Matt. I appreciate your anger towards Ron DeSantis. I'm giving you a pass on this. I think the McDonald's part let you put this in here. 'Cause it really does. It's
No,
not
it's
really
the
a business
anti-woke
pants
part.
story.
It's the anti-woke part.
Okay,
That's-
all right, that's true.
I'm
And
all
he
done
has
with
been
that.
railing against corporations, so I
Yeah,
guess you can
yeah.
use DeSantis
I'm
as a
kind of- yeah.
cartoon
Yeah.
villain, but
Yeah,
still,
I see.
you're pushing it. And I got to tell you, and maybe I would normally vote for DeSantis there, although Scott Adams, I mean, let's not forget that this is the guy who predicted that if Biden is elected, there's a good chance he will be dead within the year. Republicans
say
will be
that.
hunted. Police will stand down. I mean,
Yeah.
this guy is a true
He did say
asshole.
that, yeah.
But I'm going to punch directly up this week. This Chevron thing is just gloriously evil and genius. This is just like the Beyond Meat story. This is cartoonishly idiotic.
Yeah, it is.
And,
It
and
is.
again, this is not like this is Matt took this directly from a court filing.
I
This
read
is
it from
not,
the filing. I didn't make
yeah,
any
this
of
is
that
not a
up.
speculative story about something they might have heard that Chevron executives might be talking about in the boardroom. This is from a court filing naming sources like Fraser and the Power Rangers as extensive reporting about climate change. I mean, this is an all-time asshole move, right? I mean, all
Yeah.
time.
It is.
I mean,
It is.
really, all time. So
It is.
I got to vote, and you're going to have to break this tie, Matt, because that's my vote.
This is
I
hard
just
for me.
can't- the
It
idiocy.
can't possibly.
The
win.
idiocy of Chevron.
It's hard for me. I'm actually
Come
going to
on.
vote like
Come on.
the right vote for business pants is
Come
Chevron
on.
because that's an actual news story. But I'm going with DeSantis because fuck that guy.
Aw.
Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy.
You're so wrong.
Fuck that guy. Fuck him. Yeah, that's right.
You're so wrong this time. I got to say you're so wrong.
All right. Who won the
But
week?
I do agree. Fuck that guy. All right, come on. Let's try to get the hell out of here. We have a few minutes left. Quickly, who won the week?
I'm gonna say NyQuil.
NyQuil. Go
Oh.
ahead.
Yep. So
yeah, the cooking
the,
thing.
the FDA put out a warning saying,
Yeah.
hey, don't do this chicken NyQuil thing that's
What?
been going on TikTok.
TikTok.
And they brought so much attention to the sleepy chicken
Well,
thing.
I'm glad you bring that up, Ari, because quickly I was going to mention, I was, as a defense of Chevron, going to mention that so many people now are getting their information from things like TikTok that maybe they're not wrong. Maybe America is that dumb. The idiocracy is here, and they do get their information from the Power Rangers. So that I was going to add that.
Either way, just in time for the fall when people start feeling sick and go buy their NyQuil. NyQuil.
Yeah. Don't drink NyQuil, people. Just go to bed early. My vote is an easy one. It's got to be Scott Adams for bringing ESG into the popular culture and for being like having an MBA from a top school and still being such a profound idiot. And not to mention that a man who got rich and famous writing the most forward ESG, pro corporate governance, pro workers' rights, pro stakeholder capitalism comics known to humankind, and yet still rails against ESG. So congratulations, he won my week, Scott.
I had a different winner, but I changed
Yeah.
it, and I changed
like it.
because
And you added a question mark. Look at you.
they're real.
this.
The real winner is actually
Yeah.
Tyson Foods.
Tell us why.
Because clearly they are the source of macho meat executives. Like I didn't realize that
Yes.
Beyond Meat executives come from meat, and that
Yeah.
this is how you machify vegan like meat alternatives, pea proteins or whatever. I think
Yeah.
Tyson Foods is probably sitting there being like, not only did we get rid of a man who bit another man, and we would have had
Yeah.
that problem, but we
I
sent
think the
them.
problem they like, though, no?
I mean, the problem they probably are
they're the-
secretly high-fiving about.
Yeah, they're the ones who are killing their workers
But
like,
Tyson
sort of
Food, like-
systematically during COVID, yeah.
But Tyson Foods would have had to deal with like the woke backlash of like,
That's
Right.
true, exactly.
Another thing.
and now,
Oh,
and now
Tyson.
and now they're like laughing because the vegan company's got to deal with them. I think they won. I think they're the.
And I
winner.
will say, to prove our bona fide independent cred here, is that we're the only ones going after Beyond Meat. All the quote unquote, all the like the Sustainalytics has and
I haven't
MSCI,
seen
Glass
one
Lewis,
release.
they have
Yeah.
their own business pants shows. There's one called MSCI Business Pants. There's one called Sustainalytics Business Pants, and they're
Go
not they're not
search for them.
attacking. They're not attacking Beyond Meat because they don't dare. They're wimps.
That's true.
We're attacking.
All right,
All right.
let's wrap up with
Predictions.
some predictions here.
My prediction is Dilbert in the comic. Dilbert forms a union. He
Ooh,
unionizes to
Union
fight
Dilbert.
its pro ESG management.
Wow. I hope
And the
so.
irony, of course, is completely lost. But still, it's going to be glorious. It's going to form a union to fight the ESG, the blood-sucking ESG management.
I have two predictions. I'll start with one, which is Ari doesn't have a prediction.
Yeah.
I predict Elon Musk is going to take over the Phoenix Suns owner.
Oh, nice.
that's a-
Coming in.
Okay.
You know, the
that's-
whole sun,
Ooh,
Mars.
now you're talking SpaceX.
Stellar.
Space.
Yeah,
that-
Twitter bots.
That one feels.
That's
It's also really hot there and climate changey.
Gonna
He's
rename them
fighting
the
that.
Phoenix humanoids.
He's gonna name
like
them the
all this.
Phoenix X's because he really likes the
Phoenix.
X.
The Phoenix.
The Phoenix, yeah.
The Phoenix shuttle.
X. All right, here's my real prediction.
Yeah, and then get us out of here. Come on.
The Far Side creator Gary Larson comes
Yeah.
out with an anti-woke cartoon in
Yeah.
which an elephant says to a giraffe who
Yes.
has what looks like Dilbert's head sticking out of his mouth, I know
Mm-hmm.
you identify as a lion and I respect that. That's what I think is going to happen.
That could happen.
I'm hoping
actually
there's an anti-woke backlash in the cartoon community. That's really what I'm hoping
Yeah.
for.
Actually, I think all of our predictions could happen this week, frankly.
That was Business Pants. That's Damian Rollis and Ari the Data Queen. I was Matt Muscardi. We are Free Float Media. If you like this, I don't know why
you do.
anybody would, but you should. You should like
Oh, they
this.
do.
Come back next week. We'll be here every single day, like we always are. Like you can't get enough of us. And check out, in particular, our new Tuesday shows where we're doing corporate theater. You don't hear corporate theater anywhere. We have real actors doing real stuff. Come check that out. We'll be back next week. Until then, goodbye.